Welcome to this daily guided meditation practice. This is the Attentive Mind. My name is Nathan, and I'll be guiding you through this meditation practice today. Find yourself a seated position. The position, as always, it's really important for two aspects of it. You want to be comfortable and you want to be sturdy. You want to be comfortable because you don't want to be worrying about your body while you're practicing. If you're sitting in a weird way, it might hurt or it might get uncomfortable. So leaning over slightly or sitting on your foot isn't really a good idea. You just want to find something comfortable, like sitting in a chair or even lying down. Just don't fall asleep. You also want to find something sturdy, like sitting in a chair, because then you have this sense of being here, ready to stay, not about to get up and go do something else. We're here to stay. And that's really, really valuable in the meditation practice. Just find what works for you. We also keep our eyes open during the practice. But of course, if you have learned to practice it with your eyes closed, or if you're more comfortable practicing with your eyes closed, feel free to do so. There are no hindrances here. But if your eyes are open, go ahead and leave the screen alone and drop your gaze gently down below you, kind of looking at the floor or the desk or whatever is just below you. We're not staring or analyzing anything in particular, but we're also not zoned out and blurry. We have a gentle gaze directed softly yet clearly downwards. You're in a comfortable and seated position. A comfortable and sturdy position. Your eyes are either closed or open, gaze looking down. Let's begin by letting go of our to-do lists. We all have one in a way. Sometimes they're subtle, like become a better person, or something in the future of success, but it's vague. But even the little things like going to the grocery store, going to work, picking up the kids, whatever it is, just put it aside for now. And even if you have meditation on the to-do list, put that aside as well. Forget meditation. Forget meditation as a concept. Leave it. Everything you have to do and everything you have to accomplish, leave it alone. We're just sitting here. That's all. And in the same way, leave alone everything you've done, or maybe the things you've left undone, your regrets and your worries about the past, your story. Let's leave that alone as well. Give yourself permission here and now to leave alone the heavy burdens of both the past and the future. And if this scares you in any way, don't worry. You can pick them up later. But for this moment, we leave alone the past and the future, including meditation. We leave meditation alone as well. This moment already is, so settle in it and let go of everything else, just for this moment. And if you're normal, you'll notice that your mind doesn't really know how to do this. Your mind doesn't know how to let things go and stop trying to reach for things in the future and all that. Because it's always contemplating, worrying, frustrated, thinking, wanting. But the beauty of this practice is that we're not here to shut our minds off. We don't need thoughts to be quiet. We don't need thoughts to let go of the future or the past. Letting go of the future or the past is simply a shift in our attention. We simply pay too much attention to thinking, which is why we find it difficult to let go of the future and the past. We may even find meditation difficult because we're trying to do it by thinking about it. So we just shift our attention away from thoughts and let them continue on. In other words, we allow thinking to think whatever it wants to. We don't have to pay such close attention to it and follow it, identify with it. So notice how your attention is situated somewhere in your head, where you almost feel to exist more in your head than you do in your foot. Somehow your foot is further away from you than your neck is. And we feel somehow to be above in the head. That's more closely me. And see if you can just drop this view away from the head and drop it into the sensations of the breath, the rising and falling, the expanding and contracting, the subtle movement of breathing. And set up shop there. As the breath comes in, notice the breath coming in. And as it leaves, we notice it leaving. Instead of following this next thought, gently and effortlessly remain with the breath, rising and falling. And maybe I'm catching you thinking again. It's important to remember, though, that thoughts do not need to be quiet for us to notice the breath. It's a shift in attention. We allow thinking to happen, and we notice the breath as thinking happens. So when you notice that you're lost and caught up in thinking, some plan, some worry, simply return to breathing. You will get lost again. So gently return. And we do this as effortlessly and gently as we can. Come back. Come back to the breath. Breathing, return to the breath. Thinking can come and go as it pleases. Remain with breathing. Notice how it feels. Like you're somehow above your breath, directing attention downwards to the breath. That somehow you sit in a place above breathing and you look down at it like it's a separate object from you. See if you can take this view, being an observer in the lookout tower, and drop it down to the breath itself. In other words, as weird as this may sound, let breathing notice breathing. Notice the breath as the breath, not from a place above, but from the breath itself. Become completely intimate with the sensations of the breath and notice breathing from the sensations. Leave the head alone. right, you can look at the screen. There's a certain importance to practice to this. And a lot of us, and myself included, jump from doing practice and not doing practice. Sometimes I'm doing it, sometimes I'm not, sometimes I'm got many days in a row, and sometimes I don't. And it's not good to keep track that way, really, because it's not a game. But there is a certain urgency to practice. Life is finite. We all know this. We all know that life, as far as we know, we only have one. And it has a time limit. But most of us live as though we have an infinite clock. We live as though, as Marcus Aurelius says, we have infinite time, yet we complain about not having enough time. And the sense of urgency is you don't want to wait on your well-being. You don't want to wait on that. It's really the only thing worth accomplishing in this life is to find peace and well-being, a sense of mind that is clear and free from suffering as much as possible, one that is content, really. And if you wait on this project, like procrastinating on doing different things or whatever, then time will run out. And it's not worth that. There's a real urgency to do this practice. There's an urgency for your mental health. It matters the most. It really does. You may think your finances are more important. You may think your job and your success is more important. You may think this is more important or that's more important. But why do we do all these things? To be happy. We think at the end of financial success, we'll be happier. We think at the end of our career success, we'll be happier. But it's available now. And that's what this practice offers, is true contentment here and now, regardless of the situation. No amount of chasing the world will give you peace in your heart, will give you lasting well-being. But learning to accept things as they are and to leave alone this little voice in our head, we can find genuine contentment. But don't wait to do this project. Don't wait to practice. Do it now. And don't wait for these videos. Don't wait for an internet connection. Learn to practice on your own. Take what you learn here and do it on your own. Because maybe we won't have internet at some point, or maybe something happens and you lose your internet. You're going to stop practicing. You don't need a voice to practice. In fact, the best practice is without words, without somebody guiding you. You got one life. Don't wait. You'll regret it. So just practice. Thank you for your time today. And as always, and without exception, I will see you tomorrow.